What's up, Hot Garbage Squad? Today we are back with another video. Today we'll be doing a guide. For those who don't know who I am, this is my profile book, Blue Slime Master. Here's my book. Today we are going to do a guide on the Ice Beast. As you can clear, I've recently cleared the Ice Beast, so I will give you a tutorial and rundown for some of the beginner players on how to do it. So first, let's start off with the basics. So for strategy info, just kind of see what this beast does. Basically, you want to look at freezing roar. It basically puts you in a freezing air, and then your max HP decreases. So the way you want to counter this boss is to have turn cycling and keep going fast, okay? Cycle away the effect. So we will see that these are some of the common monsters, but today we will not be showing any of the twins because obviously it's really easy to put in two twins and no brainer. But sometimes we want to go a little bit more free to play. You know, Lagmaron, obviously amazing. Teshar, obviously amazing, right? But we don't have these premium units, and today we're going to discuss how to clear it on a more free to play style. So this is my team that I built for a more free to play style, and I'll give you the rundown of what each unit does and what substitutes you can have. Okay? So the leader skill right here, this vampire beast, he basically he's only good for the leader skill and the blood contract. So you make him go first to give attack buff, but also gives you vampire. So it gives you another source of healing. So you will see in this team, I don't run any healers. However, you will see the top monster used is Chasun. I will go into using a healer a little bit later in this tutorial. But right now, the must-have right here is you got this unit for free in the game. So this is the attack buff and the leader skill. Obviously, the leader skill is going to do so much more damage. You will see that he's built on a DPS set, but in my opinion, you can build him up for a tank, like a hybrid build. Not full tank, but still doing some damage. Moving on to this unit here, the Wind Barbarian King. These are my stats. I'm missing a rune, but he still works. So you can build him in two ways. DPS or tank. I actually prefer him in tank to put him in frontline. Reason being is because he has resentful, so he gives you the attack buff, but also it gives you a speed buff. So like I said earlier, speed buff very important to turn cycle over the boss to make sure you lose the freezing effect. So make sure you build him a little bit tanky. His second skill is also a brand. Brand makes you do more damage. Also, he has innate healing with this skill. So the more healing your team has, the less likely you're gonna wipe. At the same time, branding, you do a lot of damage. So if you don't have a Wind Barbarian King, no problem. Put in your Bernard. You should have a Bernard. If you don't, I'm questionable what you're doing in this game. So make sure you put in your Bernard if you don't have the Wind Barbarian King. Moving on to the Crow. So the Crow is also the scar, which is the branding. Sorry, this is right, the branding right here, right? So you want to land the branding because more damage, but also because team up brings an additional unit for you to do more damage. So we'll build them full damage, but also enough survivability so you don't die and wipe. And Scratch gives you the defense break. Landing defense break is really crucial, and you'll notice a trend here. A lot of these units here have defense break. So moving on to the damage dealers. Some of you may haven't thought of these two units, the Wind Archer and Orang. The reason why they're good is because Orang also gives you the leader skill. So should you not have a vampire and you use Chasun instead for the attack buff, right here, you have the leader skill to replace. So you will see she's at close to 85 crit rate because I'm maximizing the Rift Beast. If you don't know, the elemental advantage unit does more damage against the boss. So that's why I'm only using wind units as much as possible. So that's my Orang here. The reason why Sweet Talk gives you that defense break. Defense break is really good, but also gives you a lot of damage in this skill. So moving on to the Ardella. Ardella, I basically built this long ago when R5 was like 2 or 3 minutes long. However, the skill we are looking at here is, again, the leader skill. You get 35%. If you don't have a rank, you still have this. Don't have the vampire, you still have 35%. And then looking at keenness, the passive, You only need 60 crit rate. That's the beauty here. You have 60 plus 25 plus 15 for elemental advantage. You're guaranteed to crit. So the more HP you lose, the more damage you do here. So that's why you will see that I actually bring in the Ardella if you don't have other DPS units. And obviously the Lucian here, you can never go wrong with the Lucian. You have the leader skill, but the third skill ignores defense. So I'm not going to theory craft too much here. I'm going to go in and show you. So like I said before, if you're dying, bring in a healer. That healer is going to be Chasun. So bring in Chasun, replace the Wind Barbarian or the Vampire. So you'll see that I have 2 attack buffers, but none of them use their attack buff. So the more you have, the less likely you'll derp. So this team does not require any healers just because I have the Vampire third skill. And here's the groggy state, right? This is where you want to land all your debuffs, the defense break, the branding. We have multiple units. We have 2 branding units. We have 3 defense breakers, or sorry, 2. I believe Ardella does not defense break, but it does on the R5 boss. So I have 2 of them. So if you don't have twins, this is the team I would probably use. And if you don't want to use your Lucian, you can play around and toss in like your Lagmaron, your Teshars, your wind damage dealers. That's kind of what I would want to see here. If you don't run some of these damage dealers here, but the key things are here again, the defense break and the branding. So if I show you my twins team, that's the 7 million team, and my Wind Barbarian doesn't even have a rune. So you'll notice that my Vampire wiped in the front line. So if you had a healer, probably not, but you saw he had a plus 100 defense. So you want to build a little bit tanky, your frontline units survive, and you'll see that's very crucial that the speed buff is helping me cycle out of the freeze in the air. That way I don't get wiped. So if you're not fast enough, make sure you have units that can give you the cycle to turn buff. Another unit that you can use here is if you don't have a speed buff, let's say you use the Wind Barbarian for damage, right? And maybe you don't have a Lucian that you can use. Easily replace your Lucian or your other damage dealer for the support unit. That support unit is going to be another free-to-play unit called the Young Mav. Where's my Young Mav? I swear I have one build. Am I just blind? I see my Bernard. Oh, right here, the Mav. So the Mav, the reason why he's good is because of this. You get the speed buff. So speed buff and cooldown reduction. If you cooldown reduce your Chasun or your Wind Barbarian King, you're gonna have your skills up more often to cycle and heal. But also Mav is great for frontline because he also heals himself. So I would straight up build Mav tank build. This will work if you want to see it, but it's the same idea here. Alright guys, so here I am showing you with the team with Mav. You will see that he gives the wind to cooldown reduction, but also the healing. So that's why, like I said, he's good. But while I'm running through this dungeon, I want to talk to you about some other units that you can consider for this boss. Maybe you don't want to build more units just to clear this content because you don't have the resources. Perfectly understand. You can still use your Theomars. Theomars has a defense break. You'll probably have your best runes on him if you don't have like a Perno, for example, for Guild War. So you don't want to split your runes, right? So you still want to use DPS units that are not fire that can clear this, but obviously wind units will have the advantage due to the nature of the Rift Beast. So another monster that you can build is the Wind Drunken Master. Honestly, I've never built one before, but his kit works. It gives healing, also does defense break. So it works for this boss. However, like I said, you don't want to split your resources, right? And at the beginning of the game, I didn't need a Wind Drunken Master. If you haven't already built, definitely consider building him here. So obviously my rune quality is a little bit better than most players here. However, my Mav is missing one rune, my Barbarian King is missing one rune, my Vampire doesn't even have skill ups. So this is definitely on the easier side as long as you know how to clear the dungeon, which is using speed buff. If you can't use speed buff, use some healing along with speed buff. So hope that helped you guys on clearing this dungeon. It's my team, a 5 mil team for here. My highest right now is 7 mil with twins. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like, subscribe and comment. And be part of the notification squad because I do respond to comments if you do have questions. So make sure you do that. I look forward to the next video.